Your O'Reilly Factor's on tonight.
I want to make sure that the American people get a good, close look at just how extreme the Republican field of candidates. They outdo crazy every single time they step on that stage.
The head of the Democratic National Committee smearing Marco Rubio, using Jews and Nazis to do it. This story is unbelievable. We will present it to you.
It truly offended me that someone the same race that I am would have this point of view.
Some American Muslim clerics demanding Ben Carson quit the presidential race. Dr. Carson will be here to reply.
Now, do you know what religion the Pope is?
Buddhist.
Baptist. Probably Mormon.
Also ahead, how much do folks really know about the Pope? Waters on the case.
Can I quickly check my iPhone and Google it?
No.
Caution, you are about to enter the no spin zone. Factor begins right now. Hi, I'm Bill O'Reilly. Thanks for watching us tonight. The biggest smear so far in the presidential campaign, that is the subject of this evening's Talking Points memo. In a vicious, utterly false attack on Senator Marco Rubio, the head of the Democratic National Committee, Congresswoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz, has reached a new low in political attack discourse. Earlier this week, the Senator, Rubio, held a fundraiser at the Dallas home of real estate guy Harlan Crow. Mr. Crow has one of the biggest private collections of historical memorabilia in the world. The collection includes items from the Third Reich, including stuff from Hitler. Wasserman Schultz used that historical collection to smear Rubio. Quote, Rubio is holding this event on the eve of the holiest day of the Jewish calendar, Yom Kippur. Holding an event in a house featuring the artwork and signed autobiography of a man who dedicated his life to extinguishing the Jewish people is the height of insensitivity and indifference. There's really no excuse for such a gross act of disrespect. Mr. Rubio, who, by the way, represents a sizable Jewish population in our home state of Florida, should cancel this tasteless fundraiser. It is astounding that the presence of these items that represent horror for millions of Jews the world over would not stop Mr. Rubio or anyone on his team in their tracks when planning this event. What is truly astounding is the woman's ignorance. I've been to Harlan Crow's home, and I have seen his collection of history. It's amazing. Any museum would be proud to display what he has. Both good and evil are represented in an educational way. There are documents and letters from crucial moments in American history, as well as world history. They include items from villains such as Hitler, Stalin, Tojo, and Saddam Hussein. If you follow Wasserman Schultz's reasoning, no politician could hold an event in, say, the Imperial War Museum in London, for example. Her take is truly insane. By attacking Rubio using the Holocaust, the head of the DNC has shamed herself and her party. She should immediately resign. There comes a point when politics gets so dirty, it corrupts the nation. We are at this point. It's not just the Democrats who are using despicable tactics, although they seem to embrace them at a very high level. Some Republicans are comfortable using falsehood and innuendo to smear liberals. And when Talking Points sees that from the GOP, it will be reported. Summing up, there's no place for defamatory deceit in any political campaign. The presidential race now underway has the potential to get very nasty, and we will fight against that. We begin with Debbie Wasserman Schultz this evening. And that's a memo. Now for the top story tonight, reaction joining us from Washington is Senator Marco Rubio. So when you heard the head of the DNC say these things and use the Holocaust to attack you, which is exactly what she did, how did you react?
Well, it didn't surprise me. I've been watching Debbie Wasserman Schultz for years in Florida. On top of her political extremism, she tends to do these sorts of things. I was outraged because this is a private citizen, an individual who participates in the political process, who anyone who knows him for 2 seconds realizes he's not a Nazi sympathizer. In fact, as what's been reported, you said he's a collector. His mother survived a German U-boat attack under the Nazis. But it is a despicable attack, and you know what the evidence of that is? Even liberal media outlets have criticized her for doing that don't expect an apology. They just move on. They don't feel like they're accountable to anybody for it. But I think it also is indicative of the levels of desperation that have now entered the Democratic Party. Their front runner is in a lot of trouble, as we've been seeing in the news over the last few days. And I think this is further sign of that sort of desperation that they're now facing, the panic, really.
All right, but you yourself, did you anticipate this level of hatred? Because I think it's going to get worse. I really do. I see this as probably the dirtiest campaign in the history of the country. Did you anticipate it yourself?
Well, I've been watching as politics has gone in this direction. Anyone who enters this knows that you are susceptible to being attacked with these sorts of things. What I still put my faith in is in the judgment of the American people who see that he's through these sorts of attacks. And here's the truth. Debbie Wasserman Schultz should be more concerned about the fact that she decided to side with her president, of her party. She decided to side with her party and put Israel in danger. She is in favor of and voted for and is an enthusiastic supporter of this deal with Iran that will give the Iranian regime the opportunity to do things like wipe Israel off the face of the earth, as the Ayatollah has said he wants to do. When he said, for example, Israel won't even exist in 25 years. That's what really matters, but she didn't care about that. Instead, she's playing these sorts of vicious political games. But you know, I think she only hurts herself and their cause when they do it. So
well, it'll be interesting to see if that's the case. The story has been underreported, but we felt it was so outrageous and at such a high level ahead of the DNC that we had to report it tonight. All right, new Bloomberg poll has Trump 21, Ben Carson 16, Jeb Bush 13. That's different from the Fox poll. He's at 7 in the Fox poll. Carly Fiorina 11, and you are at 9. And everybody else is kind of out of it at this point. When Governor Walker quit, in his remarks, he said that he hopes all of the remaining candidates will join together to defeat Trump. What did you think when he said that?
Well, what I think is we need to have someone who's a serious person, someone who is serious about the future of our country, someone who understands the challenges we face. This election is not about any of us individually. It's about the United States of America. At one of the most critical times in its history, both geopolitically and domestically here with our economy. And we need to have someone who has real thoughts about and depth on these issues that our country's facing.
Are you saying Mr. Trump doesn't have those real thoughts?
Well, if you watched the debate last week, I think that answers itself. When the debate turned to policy, he stood silent for 23 minutes, and that's why he had such a bad debate. That's why he's now reacting the way he is and continuing to offend anyone who criticizes him. He's very thin-skinned, obviously. He's very sensitive to criticism. But he can't have a conversation about policy because, quite frankly, he doesn't know anything about policy. His foreign policy apparently is a secret. He can't tell us because he doesn't want to reveal it to the enemy.
It's not really a secret, but I put forth that he has been good for the Republican Party, Trump, in general, because he's brought so many new people in to watch these debates. Would you cede that Trump has been good?
Look, I'm glad that we have so many people paying attention.
Okay,
and
good.
I've never denied
I think,
that
to be fair, he has, like him or not, he's stimulated debate, and he has gotten everybody involved who's going to get involved. The other zombies, no matter what you do, are not.
But let me be clear, Bill. I don't dislike anyone who's running for president personally. I'm running for president on my agenda because I believe this country can be greater than it's ever been, but it's on the road to decline. And that's what this campaign needs to be about, and that's what we're going to remain focused on. Am I glad that people are tuning in and watching? Absolutely, because I think if you look at what we offer as a party and as a movement in the conservative movement, it is superior to what the other side has forced upon this country for the last 7 years.
We will see. This is going to be some race, Senator, and we always appreciate you taking the time to talk with us. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks.
Next on the rundown, some American Muslim clerics demanding Ben Carson quit the presidential race. Another insane situation. Dr. Carson will be here.